Hello, and thank you for joining us on Inside the Nest. I'm Jack Bartek. On today's special homecoming edition, we take a look at a fall without football, a feature on our historic 1970 football team, an update on our fall sports teams who just finished up practice for the semester, and much, much more. Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, nothing has been left unchanged, and unfortunately, the homecoming celebration is no exception. This year, there will be no packed crowds at Sprague Field or carnivals at the Quad. However, students and alumni alike can still show off their Red Hawk pride at virtual homecoming, taking place this Saturday, October 24th on Zoom. Even with the virtual event, things will certainly not be the same, and one of the biggest losses will be the homecoming football game. For more on that, I'll send it over to George Jamgochin, who takes a look at a fall without football.
The beginning of fall is an indicator that college football season is on its way and ready for action. However, the pandemic has sidelined Montclair State's 2020 season into the winter and spring, while the fall is being used for practices. Although it may be a long time before the opening kickoff, both head coach Rick Giancola and quarterback Jaquil Birch are eager to get back onto the field.
Well, it's nice to be back, but it's not the same in terms of what we would be accustomed to each year.
Just seeing the guys, being around the coaches, hearing Coach G yell, the whistles blowing, cars driving by, rooting up Red Hawks on. Just practice, just being around my guys again. That'll be the best part again.
With the practices happening in the current environment, Giancola is hoping for the best for his players and the guidelines they follow.
We're hoping that we can keep everybody healthy. And the protocols that we are going through, for the most part, the kids and the staff have all abided by.
The NJAC Conference's football season was postponed until next year, and initial reactions from the players and staff were understandably sad, but accepting of the outcome.
I was disappointed. I was angry, but I understood it. But I understood for the safety and health of everyone concerned and all the other people around us, it had to be that way.
I figured out what's next for us, for the old guys. Are you just going to kick us out, let us graduate and have nothing? But then I saw all the people dying because of the virus. So I sat back and I said, all right, this is bigger than football.
The Red Hawks plan on playing 4 games next year, with dates yet to be announced. But even though the season will be played in the winter and spring, Birch says their mentality hasn't changed.
The Red Hawk way is the same. We're ready to put in work and play wherever, winter, spring, fall, summer. We're just ready to play. We're chopping at the bit to get back, and I'm excited we got something. Most schools got nothing, so I'm excited we got a season in the spring. That'll be fun.
Coach Giancola has a message for his senior players as they embark on their last year.
Be the best you can be. You know what's in front of you. You know you have these 4 games, and if we get a chance to play for the championship, here's a 5th game, and that's it, you're done. So whether it's 3 games, 5 games, or 10 games, be the best you can be at what you're doing.
I gotta say, one of the sights I have missed most this fall is Coach G and Jaquil tearing up defenses on the turf, but it's great to see them hungry as ever looking ahead to their spring season. Even with no football game this year, there are many great stories to be told for the celebration of homecoming. For a sneak peek, I had a chance to sit down with members of our historic 1970s football team, and our Red Hawk correspondent, Jess Lipson, took a look at the former homecoming king and queen who became Mr. and Mrs. First question, it's been 50 years since that historic win in the Newt Rockne Bowl. How crazy is that?
It does. Well, the fact that I'm going to be 80 this year makes it even crazier, but it seems more like 20 years. I've been able to stay in contact with quite a few of the guys from the team via Facebook, and then every year quite a few of us go to the Red Hawk fundraiser that the coach runs, and the beefsteak dinner in Wayne, and that's been a good way to keep personally in touch.
Awesome. So I'm going to take you through a couple of plays from that game, and I want you to just run through your mindset and what you were thinking. Okay. So the first play, Hampton-Sydney scores. They're going for two, a chance to win it, and you guys get the stop. What was going on, with that play?
Well, we were ahead at the point 7-0, and we had missed a field goal attempt earlier. And of course, I give Stokely Van Camp was the coach for Hampton-Sydney, and I give him credit for wanting to go for the win. But Mike Van Zyl, who was our left defensive end, got a good rush on the ball and tipped the pass. And Alex Kaplanovich, who was our safety, was in the end zone with about 75 other ball players around him. And he went up, it was like a basketball rebound. He went up for it, got a hold of the ball, and came down in this pile. And afterward he said, "Coach, I didn't spend all summer lifting them weights to have somebody take that football away from me at that point." And that was the end of their two-point conversion.
Brought up John Brunelli. I was going to ask you about him. 3 interceptions in that game. How much of a key was him to that defense? And just speak on him for a second.
John was an incredibly cagey defensive back. And I know he'll forgive me when I say he wasn't blessed with great speed, but he had incredible football smarts and knew how to place himself. He had great anticipation. And the 3 picks in the game were all critical, especially that last one.
Birthday party, and I'm 72, so I still can't believe it's been 50 years since we played in that game. And
when you're on the field, all you're thinking of stopping the opponent. You're not worried, oh my God, we're going to lose. No, just stop them.
But everybody got along. To this day, it's like a band of brothers.
On October 17, 1992, Greg DeBeese and Jeanette Fenner went homecoming king and queen on Sprague Field at Montclair State University. Almost 30 years later, in the exact same spot, they tied the knot on this unexpected love story. Officiating the marriage was the campus police chief, who was also there to make sure everyone was social distancing during this pandemic. The ring bearer was our very own Rocky the Red Hawk. This couple got their start at their homecoming, and ours is right around the corner. This year for 2020 homecoming, it's going to be a little different, as it'll all take place virtually. Some of the events that are going to take place will be reliving the 1970 championship football team and looking at how fall sports were impacted by COVID-19. I hope everybody enjoys the new 2020 homecoming experience.
Thank you, Jess, for that great piece. Now, here's an update on fall sports and what they're doing to prepare for their seasons. As many of you know, the coronavirus pandemic has canceled fall sports for the 2020 season. Even though there won't be any games played in the fall, many of the teams at Montclair State have been practicing in preparation for the spring season. MSU's field hockey team just wrapped up fall practices, and here's Coach Eileen O'Reilly on what it's like getting back on the field.
It was awesome to be back out here with the team for 6 weeks. Went by like this. We spoke after practice a couple weeks ago, which feels like just yesterday. But we had a great fall, a lot of fun, good progress, and we're excited to see what's next for the spring, and we're hopeful to be back together.
The men's and women's soccer teams are also back at practice. Some of the players talk about the challenges their teams face during the season.
Well, there's a few challenges. The big one is everyone having to adjust to run in the winter, because we're not really used to getting fit in the winter. It's going to be a little tougher, but I feel we could all do it. We're all pretty fit now. We're just going to have to stay fit until the next spring. So
we're using this time to get used to each other and playing with each other. We have a lot of incoming freshmen, but I think by the time the spring comes around, we'll all be ready to go and excited to play.
MSU's swimming practice is underway at Panager Athletic Center. Here's Coach Brian McLaughlin on what's coming up for the men's and women's swimming team.
We just began our second week of practices. It's going well. The team is certainly happy to be back, as are the coaches. As most of you know, we have no competition in person this fall semester, but we did set up a virtual meet for Saturday, November 7th at 1 o'clock with the U.S. Coast Guard Academy, the Merchant Marine Academy, and Springfield College. So we're looking forward to that. It's one of the few fortunate schools that's in the water training at this point, and we are very, very thankful for that. Go Red Hawks.
Lastly, volleyball coach Eddie Stawinski gives an update on how practice has been for the team.
Volleyball practice is just wrapped up for the fall, and our team did an exceptional job given the current circumstances we're facing. We want to thank our administrators and our sports medicine department for allowing us to be back on the court this fall and training together as a team. We hope to see you in the near future and continue to do well and stay healthy. Go Redhawks.
October 19, 2019 was a special day for Montclair on campus. Not only was it homecoming, but it was the setting of a football game against Christopher Newport, where head coach Rick Giancola was looking for his 250th career win. Let's see how it shook out. The scoring started on the first drive of the second quarter, Jaquil Birch launching one into the arms of Kason Campbell, 54 yards and a touchdown. Just like that, a 7-0 lead, to be followed by this field goal attempt by Anthony Marinelli through the uprights and good for 32 yards. Now on to the third quarter. Nice little corner route for Zach Skrivenik, Birch's second TD pass on the game. He would finish 13 of 21 on 160 yards through the air. And on the ground, it was Angelo Golino squeezing through the crowd, up the middle, taking it 16 yards to the end zone, capping off a 24-0 Red Hawk victory on homecoming. That win was Coach Giancola's 250th, and it put Montclair to a record of 3-3 on the season.
Now, to close out our special homecoming episode, we have our social media post of the week, which comes from the football team. You can find them on Instagram at Montclair State FB. This week, they're finally headed back to the gridiron as they took part in their first practice of the season. And it's only fitting that they captioned the post from a quote from Montclair State alum and former NFL linebacker Sam Mills, "Keep pounding." With that being said, that's it for this episode. Thank you for tuning into our homecoming edition of Inside the Nest. On behalf of the Red Hawk Sports Network, I'm George Jamgochin. See you next time.